I'm your host, Gisela, and today I have with me here Peter.
Hello.
This is our first ever episode of Marketing Humanity, the new marketing podcast about how to be a more human-centric marketer. And we're very excited.
First episode. You nervous?
A little bit.
I'm nervous too.
So we have a lot of exciting topics that we can't wait to cover in our upcoming episodes. So we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, let's dig right in.
Yeah, so today for episode 1, we are going to talk about marketing courses, specifically the ones you see on platforms like Udemy that promise that you can become a marketer in just 8 hours when you finish the course.
Wow. 8
So,
hours.
yeah, and we're going to be discussing what the popularity of these classes actually mean for marketers and the marketing industry. So I'm sure that many of you have either taken or know people who have taken these classes. We have both actually taken these online classes before, just out of curiosity. So I finished my whole 8-hour course. It went over things like Google Analytics, SEO, how to be a copywriter, how to buy Facebook ads, all of these topics. And it was very overwhelming and honestly quite different than my day-to-day as a marketer. So yeah, Peter, what were your initial thoughts when you took your class?
My initial thoughts was that I'm amazed that you finished your 8 hours. Okay, mine was about 6 and I didn't finish mine, but you know, according to most of these analytics, right, with these courses, less than 40% of people actually complete their courses. So I'm actually perfect. I'm normal. You're not normal. So yeah, I actually picked and choose just to see how they cover certain topics that maybe I wasn't quite familiar with.
Yeah.
But my sense with these courses are, I think they serve a good in a sense, right? In that they're trying to help people keep up to date with the fast changing pace of digital marketing. And I think that's kind of where it is right now. But I think the reason why we're talking about this is because I think it sets a dangerous, maybe that's an over the top word, but it sets a kind of a expectation or perception about the marketing industry that I think is misplaced. In other words, you know, the promises of these courses usually have the headline that says, you know, become a certified marketing consultant in 8 hours. My God, what can you do in 8 hours? Can I be a dentist in 8 hours?
Hopefully not.
Can you be a surgeon in 8 hours? Maybe 12? Can you do that? So to cast this profession as something that's just simply a snap away, or you just need to learn a few tips and tricks, very tactical stuff, as I would call it in our industry, I think it serves this purpose and actually misplaces what marketing, and all you listeners, I'm sure a lot of you are marketers, puts you know, in a position where you're always trying to explain what you do and the value that you bring to the table.
Right. Yeah, definitely. How else do you think that this idea that anyone can be a marketer in such little time, how does that actually affect the industry?
Well, let me just say one thing. I think anyone can be a marketer.
Okay.
Maybe not in 8 hours is what I'm trying to tell you. So let's talk a little bit about the qualities of marketers that you know makes this profession very interesting. So when we say marketers, I mean advertising people as well, you know, people in the PR field. And what's remarkable, I think, about this industry is I do think it's a noble industry, right? But it's one of those few industries where you can come up with like the most silliest idea and get promoted for it. Right? It's actually quite amazing. But at the same time, I feel like the reputation of our industry has been hijacked because the lure of this shiny, bright object called digital marketing, right? Because when you go to industry conferences, what are they talking about? They're talking about the latest trend, whether it's videos or social media or influencers. I mean, 5 years ago, everyone was all over SEO. Now, you know, where's SEO? It's still relevant, but far from being like point, right? So I do think that the industry needs to reflect it on itself and ask, what is the purpose of my job? And if I can answer it for everyone, is the purpose of your job in marketing is to change people the way they see your product or service for the better, right? It's a job of persuasion, not manipulation, although some may do that, but it's a job of subtle persuasion and also, you know, getting on the good side of people where you're using persuasion through surprise and delight, and not necessarily always interrupting them, which is kind of the cornerstone of marketing. But I would try to argue our listeners out there to say that maybe, interruption's not always a good thing, right? That we should be building more trust and earning attention rather than the opposite.
Yeah, for sure. And then in terms of skills, what skills do you think that marketers actually need to know that these classes may or may not be providing?
Well, these classes do provide value in that they're teaching you very, kind of tactical skills. I keep going back to that, right? These are skills that can be learned. They can be changed depending on whether Google changes their algorithm, changes their dashboard. So these things need to be continuing education stuff. But I think what can be learned, marketers, I think it's almost like a lost art, right? It really is. I would say if I were hiring someone, whether it's for a marketing manager or even for a ad person, creative person, I would ask them do you know SEM? Do you know how to optimize for Facebook advertising? I wouldn't ask that because that could be learned. Again, it's optimization. It's a skill, right? But what is difficult to learn is understanding human beings and the complexity that goes into that, right? What makes us amazing and complex at the same time is because unlike digital, which is all rational, we're actually very irrational people. We're evolved to be irrational because it's a survival mechanism, right? We're evolved to be unpredictable. And I think that's the beauty of marketing, is to how do you tap into the uncertainty of what makes up a human being, right? We're subject to moods, we're subject to persuasion, we're subject to all these different impacts on our lives depending on how you frame things.
For sure.
So I would say, if you want to be a great marketer or even advertiser, go pick up some of the classics, right?
Okay.
Like 6 ways to, persuade people and how to influence people, and David Ogilvy's seminal book on Ogilvy on advertising. If you read those books or some of the classics on immutable laws of marketing and branding, you'll learn so much more wisdom in those few things than if you were to take take an 8-hour class on the digital marketing alone.
For sure. And to add my 2 cents, I definitely think it's also crucial to take all these theories and learnings and put them into practice and just, get better at it.
I think that's the only way. Unfortunately, I have to say there's a lot of laziness going on in our marketing industry. Don't mean to call people out too bluntly like that, but I think it's subconscious because we're operating marketing these days far too much with our computer screens, right? I mean, it's a push of a button, color things light up and tell you to do this and do that, and we're kind of robotic. It's kind of like being mindless about following our car's GPS, even though that at 5:30 that never take Gary Boulevard during high peak traffic hour, but yet GPS tells you to do that and you're like a lemming and go, okay. And you're stuck in traffic forever. Wow, it's probably a better way to take a local street. And you know that because of your human experience, right? And through accumulated experience. Yeah, that's actually hard to learn. And so e-learning industry is great. I think it does a very, very niche service for people. But guys, look, this whole podcast is about helping educate, helping push our industry towards a better place. And I think we're going to kick off this first episode by telling people, look, there's no better way to do this than to take some risk, right? Don't follow, try to lead, be courageous in what you do, and open yourself up to learning more than just the technical side, the digital side of marketing, but also be open to learning about human psychology, behavioral economics, things that actually are at the heart of what marketing and persuasion and advertising is all about. Yeah,
that's a great summary of our conversation today. Thank you. So that's it for today's episode. If you like what you just heard, please make sure to click subscribe. We would like to thank Sparko for sponsoring our podcast. Sparko offers marketing services, branding services, and creative services. So please check them out at sparko.com. The link is also in our description below. And if you liked what you heard, please leave us a comment. Tell us what we missed, what you liked, what other ideas you want to bring to the table. We will read each and every single comment and reply.
Yep.
So next week, we will be talking about the rise of branded experiences, specifically the Taco Bell hotel that went viral a couple of weeks ago. We have lots of exciting thoughts on that. So thank you. Oh, that's a good question.
Okay.
We will catch you next time.